Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to episode 127 of Magnificent Mondays. And this week we're going to break down and review 300 from Zack Snyder, based on the Frank Miller graphic novel. I keep wanting to say comic, but it's a graphic novel, isn't it? And it's an amazing flick. But before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. We're live on YouTube, yes, and we're live on Rumble. That's why I'm a few seconds late. I forgot to set up the Rumble stream, and I did it right at the last minute. Because I'm an idiot. Where were we? Explore the description for links for stuff like merch and me books. Let's get me books out. There we go. There's me books. Amazon Kindle and paperback. Give them a whirl. One's a little thin one. One's a big thick one. They're a bit of fun. What else? And links for my social medias and all that stuff. Spotify and all that as well. And what else? And my other websites. mercuryrapids.co.uk and thatoldyorkshiregeek.co.uk. What else? I'll become a member and you get early access videos and exclusive videos and stuff like that. I'm aware that over in America land your clocks went forward, so I don't know if that means I'm early for you. I don't know. Hours don't change until the 29th of March. I have no idea who makes these decisions about the clocks and daylight savings and all that stuff. But it's some witchcraft probably. Anyway, I bet it is. I bet it's like the occult. It'll be something to do with that, the elite and all that stuff. Don't get me started. Right, anyway, so 300, as I said. Based on the graphic novel from Frank Miller, which is itself based on the legend or myth, or I suppose you could say, of the 300 Spartans, from ancient Greek myth. And the Battle of Thermopylae. Anyway, directed by Zack Snyder and written by Zack Snyder, Kurt Johnstadt and Michael B. Gordon. It stars Gerard Butler, Lena Headey, David Wenham, Dominic West, and there's Michael Fassbender in there as well, and a few other people. And music by Tyler Bates. Pretty good score for this film, and it's at this time, so like the mid to late aughts. We kind of had three great graphic novel adaptations, didn't we? We had Sin City, and we had this, and we had Watchmen. And I don't think any other film has come close, in my opinion. 300 of what? 300 of the Spartans. That's what it is, isn't it? But anyway, I bet you've read it. I bet Win Grace has read it. I obviously haven't, because I'm not a comics person. But anyway, I had a budget of 65 million, which isn't that much, but it's a sort of a film that didn't have it wasn't globe-trotting. It's all against blue screens and green screens and stuff like that. And it did 468 million at the box office, so it did pretty well. It got a sequel, 300 Rise of an Empire, which were all right. I didn't mind it. Not as good as the first one, but I thought it were okay. But 300 abs. Yes, there's lots of abs in this. Lots of rippling muscle and all that stuff. It's a very manly film. It's a man's film, isn't it? And a parody. What's a parody? I don't know. Parody? What? 300 is a parody, is it? I don't know. It doesn't look like one to me. But anyway, we'll get on with it, shall we? Is that it? Yeah, we'll get on with it. We're not going to watch the film, obviously, because YouTube will go mental. So, hang on. Meet the Sparta. I've not seen that one. I've not seen any of them parody films like Meet the Spartans and what were it, Epic Movie and all. I've not seen those. I think I stopped watching them. Well, I didn't see any of them, really. I think the last sort of parody film I watched was Scary Movie, the last good Scary Movie film, not the new one. Because I haven't seen that one. But anyway, it got a sequel and a parody. Yes, it did. Anyway, right, so, where were we? Yes, we'll get on with it, shall we? Right, so, As I said, we'll not just watch it, we'll go through it in a series of stills, trying to remember what I've gleaned from the special features on the Blu-ray, which are pretty good. There's a commentary, which is alright, from Zack Snyder, and some other bloke, I don't know who it is, and a producer, I imagine, I don't know. And there's some behind-the-scenes stuff, which is, quite interesting. But anyway, some good history stuff as well in there, which I've probably forgotten. I don't have any notes because I'm an idiot. I've had a busy day today. I've had to watch this film twice. Anyway, right, so pop myself down in the corner. I'm doing something else new as well. To try and stop these blooming copyright claims, we're going to have like a TOYG watermark over the screen. So I'll pop myself down in the... Well, I'll get that up first. There it is. I'm having that up on the screen. I'll pop myself down in the corner. There we go. Add that to the stage. There we go. We're going to have that over. But you can still see. You can still see. Right. So, off we go. And there it is. There, good old Warner Brothers thingamabob. And here we go. There we go. I like how Warner Brothers likes them to change, the logo, depending on the film. A lot of studios, they do it occasionally, but Warner Brothers does it regularly, doesn't it? And Xerxes with his scissors. Has he got scissors? I don't remember that. But anyway, I will talk about my theory, my headcanon for this as we get into it. It's related to Stargate. Anyway. But I know it's not, it's just in my head. Right, off we go. There we go. Legendary Pictures, blah, blah, blah. Virtual Studios, 300. Is it going to go red? I don't know, maybe I missed it. Isn't it? We're not going to get a red splash. No, we're not. Oh, that's weird. That's red, isn't it? And Justin's here saying, hello, everyone. Hello, Justin. Hello, Justin. Right, off we go. So we begin with lots of skulls, and we're learning all about the Spartans. The famous South Park scene, Sesame Xerxes. All right, I don't know. I've not seen it. South Park's not something I've seen regularly. I see the occasional episode, but it's not something I watch regularly. Same with Family Guy and those series. I catch one every now and again, but it's not something I've watched every episode of. Anyway, so we begin. We learn about the Spartans and what a brutal life they lead. See, when they're born. By the way, the story is told from the perspective of Dilios, who's the David Wenham character. So it's he's telling the story, is Dilios. So we're learning that when a Spartan's born, if the baby's sickly or deformed, they basically murder them. They chuck them off the cliff, and there's all the poor little baby skulls. And we learn that, as soon as they can stand, they're taught the ways of battle. And here we are, he's a young Leonidas learning how to fight. There he is being taught by some muscly bloke. Apparently Leonidas, in this film, they kind of make out, he earned the right to be king and all that. But apparently he only became king because his brother, who was first in line to the throne, or his stepbrother, or whatever, a relation, basically went mad and chopped himself up or something. I don't know, but that's how Leonidas became king. But they don't mention that here. Anyway, so they boot them out when the kids. It's a bit like on Star Trek where they make the young Vulcans. Vulcans are a weird race, aren't they? Make the young Vulcans go out into the wilderness to fend for themselves. They kind of do that here. And there's Leonidas' mother, who kind of looks a lot like Leonidas' wife. She looks a lot like Lena Headey, doesn't she? But obviously it's not, I don't think. There you go. So they go out and they go fighting and all that stuff, and they get beaten. There we go, because it's that's a brutal life. And he's supposed to be 10 years old here, but he looks older than that. But anyway, he comes across the wolf. Here it comes. There's the wolf. Which is straight from the comic book, apparently. And so he takes out this wolf, and we see that we're setting up for later on. We see he traps the wolf in this narrow passage, which is about what the Battle of Thermopylae is all about, isn't it? The hot gates. But this is what we're going to do with this wolf there. He's looking back. and he's going to trap it in there and take it out and earn his Spartan badge. That snow looks rubbish, doesn't it? It doesn't look like snow. If you watch when it moves, when he moves his foot, they're going to show it. Oh, the wind moves it. It's like bloody desiccated coconut or something, isn't it? Anyway. Windswept pines moving against the coming night. Anyway, he takes out this wolf. Hang on, I'm going to show it. Cool. His hands are steady. His form, perfect. There we go, stabs it. And then he goes back with the wolf over his shoulders. By the way, I forgot to do earlier on. Where are we up to? 5:28. There's a fountain that we see early on when he's a young man in the background and he's being trained. And apparently I didn't notice, but in the commentary they talk about it. Is it going to show? It's not going to bloody show it, is it? There's a fountain somewhere. No, it's not showing it, is it? Never mind. And he changes it because of the wolf that he defeats. He changes it. When he's grown up, the fountain has got like a wolf's head. But I never noticed. And it didn't when he was a kid. Anyway, right, so here he is, getting rid of the wolf. And now they all bow down to him. He is the king, King Leonidas, which is, I don't know what it means. What does Leonidas? Something to do with lions, isn't it? I don't know what it means. Lion-like or something, I don't know. Right, and there we go. There's David Wenham, who we're seeing here in the future of the film. Because we see he's got a bandage over his eye. Our King Leonidas, and he's telling the story to lots of other Greeks. We'll see at the end, with all their abs out. But so we're going to tell them about what led to the point they are in the film here. So about the upcoming battle that they're going to fight and what led up to it. So we begin. King Xerxes, or is he King Xerxes, or is he just Xerxes? I don't know at this point. I don't know, but anyway. Because they mentioned Xerxes and his father, Darius. So I don't know, anyway. He's invaded Greece with his, it's supposed to be like a 1,000,000-man army, but I don't know if it was that many, but in real life. But he's invaded and sweeping all before them. And they sent messengers. Here they are. Oh, apparently this is the only exterior shot in the film where they actually went outside and shot it with these horses. Everything else in the film is on a soundstage. So there we go. So that's the only exterior shot, and I think this is all CG. I think yes, it is. This is all CG done on, I don't know, the visual effects supervisor's Mac at home, according to Zack Snyder. Anyway, so here he is. He's come to some Greeks. He's arrived at Sparta, and we see that he's got. How's it going to show it? There we go. He's got the heads of conquered kings, the kings that Xerxes has conquered, and he does the famous horse rearing up thing, which again is from the comic book, apparently. Right, so now we see Leonidas there. We see that the fountain has now got a wolf's head. It didn't before. I never noticed, but Zack Snyder pointed it out a few times in the commentary. Here he is teaching his son how to fight. There's the lovely Lena Headey, from Game of Thrones, and other stuff, obviously, Dredd and all that. Sarah Connor Chronicles. She's been in loads of stuff, hasn't she? She plays Gorgo, Leonidas' wife. And then this is, called Gorgo. I just think of the 1960s British Godzilla film. So is that where they got the name for that film? They must have done. I never knew that Leonidas' wife was named after a big monster that stomped over London. Anyway, so there he is teaching his son how to fight. I don't know what his son's called. I don't know if it ever mentions him, does it? I don't know. I'm going to look it up. Let's see if it says what his son's called. By the way, yes, the young Leonidas, the first one we saw, were played by Eli Snyder, who is Zack Snyder's son. Right, what's he called anyways? Leonidas' son. I'm trying to find it. It's not going to say it here, is it? Never mind. Does it say in the plot? Rum-ti-tum. No, it doesn't say there either. Never mind. It's not important, but he has a son, and obviously he's battle scarred and everything already. And so it's Gerard Butler as Leonidas. You just got to shout his name all the time. Gerard Butler! I was watching this earlier on twice, and I was thinking if this film had been made in maybe the 70s, a good Leonidas would have been Brian Blessed, because he can do all the stuff that Gerard Butler, maybe without the abs, but it was a burly fella, wasn't he, Brian Blessed? Anyway, so it's where we're going to learn that there's messengers from Persia. They're arriving. There he is, the main messenger from Persia, played by Pete Mensah, who's been in loads of stuff. There's Dominic West as another Spartan. Can't remember his name. Oh, it says there, Theron, Councilman Theron, who is a baddie, by the way. He's a baddie, is that fella. He's not a nice chap. He's a politician. All the other Spartans are mostly warriors, but Theron's a politician, and therefore a baddie. Anyway. So here he is talking to the messenger, and he says, bow down to Xerxes, and your lives will be spared, and all that, and Sparta will rule all of Greece, etc. It's a battle you cannot win, and all that stuff. This is where we get the famous scene where, the famous "This is Sparta" scene where he kicks him into the well. But anyway, because he sees it as a slight. He sees that the messenger has slighted Sparta. So you insulted my wife, because she speaks. He thinks she speaks out of turn, does the messenger. But Spartan women were known for their independence, and because they were warriors as well. And apparently, the most beautiful women in the world are Spartan women. Helen of Troy was a Spartan. So there you go. But that was nearly 1,000 years before this, about 800 years before this, wasn't it? But anyway, right, so this is where they're all looking on, and he's going to kick him into the well, and do the famous "This is Sparta," because he says this is madness, because you're not supposed to kill messengers. That's the thing you're not supposed to do, and he does. He says no. He's going to say it. Is he going to say madness? No, this is Sparta. This is one of those, can a picture make a sound? So he boots them all in. Well, boots him into the. I'd say well. I don't even know what it is. It's a big hole in the ground. Kicks him into there, and all the other soldiers take out the guards of the messenger, and they all get thrown into the. I call it a well anyway. In real life, there were loads of cardboard boxes, and they all jumped onto the cardboard boxes. Anyway, so now he's got to go see the Oracle of Delphi as Leonidas, which is really hard to get to, apparently. Well, according to this film, he's got to climb up a sheer cliff, by the looks of it. Here he goes. And there we go. When he gets to the top, he's met by an Ephor. Or is it E4? I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Greek. Who are like the guardians, I suppose, of the Oracle. In this, the Oracle is like this young woman, supposed to be like this young, like teenage woman, who's kind of abused by the Ephors, but has some sort of, prophetic powers. But apparently in real life, according to the historian that's on this Blu-ray, the Oracle was an old woman who dressed in virginal clothes, like, white clothes and all that. Anyway, but she was an old woman. But in this, she's a young woman, and I'm going to have to be careful because she gets her bits and bobs out. Anyway, right, so there they are. Welcome, Leonidas. By the way, the Ephors are all hideous, with covered in sores and warts and all that stuff. They're not nice looking because they're not nice people. Anyway, so they take them in. And they're going to consult with the oracle for a price. He's got to give them loads of gold. He tells them that he wants to take his men and hold off the Persian army at Thermopylae, the Hot Gates, which is a narrow pass. It's not anymore, apparently. Not that I've been, but it's not anymore. But it was back then. It was a narrow pass, only a few metres wide, and it could hold off, a big force there with just a few men. So they're going to ask the oracle and see what the oracle says, but after he pays them loads of money. And they also say that the festival of Carnea is starting, so it must be August because that's when it happens. And they're not allowed to go to battle in the time of Carnea. So that's what they're saying. He says, well, if we don't, we'll get conquered, because obviously the Persians won't honour that, will they? So anyway, he gives them loads of money. And they say he's blasphemous and all that stuff. But anyway, there we go. They go to the oracle. There she is. She's in a water tank, apparently. They filmed her in the water tank, so she floats about a lot. And I'm going to have to be careful, aren't I? We'll get past it. And then she whispers words to the FRs, and they translate. It sounds like mumbo jumbo. Apparently she made it up. The actress Zack Snyder says she just made this stuff up and then just added in the occasional word like carnea and stuff like that. But she was just like mumbling nonsense. And he said she did really well, bless her. But anyway, so they basically tell him, the oracle tells him, not to go to battle, you will lose and all that stuff. So he ignores them. Anyway, right, and then we see, is this the next one? We see gold coins with the face of Xerxes on. Somebody's getting paid. We see that Councilman Theron and somebody from Xerxes, one of Xerxes' lieutenants or whatever, have gone to see the FRs as well, and they're paying with Persian money. And then we see that it's got glowing eyes. Look, this is where I'm coming into my my not theory, but my headcanon for later on. I'll say it now. In my headcanon, what's happening in this film is like it's the dying days, the last days of the Goa'uld on Earth. In my headcanon, I've got it that when Ra abandoned Earth back in like 10,000 BC or whenever it was, he left Earth and they buried the Stargate, didn't they? But some lower level Goa'uld, with hosts and stuff, were left behind. They were basically trapped on Earth. They couldn't get off, and they didn't have any of the technology because Ra had taken it all with him. But they were still seen as gods by the people. So some of them still they fled Egypt and ended up in like Persia and places like that, ruling these early mighty empires as gods amongst men. And but obviously they didn't have sarcophaguses to live forever, so they were the last few. And even though they did live a long time, by this time they're dying out and there's not many left, and maybe these are the last ones. So that's just my pet theory. Anyway, right, so off we go. Where were we? Right, so Leonidas is worrying about what to do, and here he is with his missus. Got to be careful here, because Lena Headey gets her jubblies out in this scene. Anyway, so he's worrying about what to do. Apparently this was a closed set because they're both in the nude, so they're basically probably just Zack Snyder and the director of photography and the sound man, and probably that's about it. We know some stayed, like Seth. Yes, they did. Yes, some of them did. And but he had a sarcophagus, didn't he? I think. Anyway, so she's basically going to tell him, do what you want to do. You're the king, and all that, and you do what you think is right. Never mind what the oracle says. Never mind what some he calls her some drunk adolescent. That's what he calls her. But anyway, but they're going to get down to business first. So it's going to be a sex scene. So we'll skip past that. Hey, steady. Oh, crikey. Blooming number. But anyway, because they're madly in love, is her and Leonidas. Right, so here we go. All of them, 300 as ordered, and 300 men with sons to carry on the family name. It's going to take them without the permission of the council. He's king. Why does he need permission? I don't know, but anyway. Let me have a drink. Ooh, crikey. I'm supping some dandelion and burdock. Man's pop. Anyway, where were we? Right, we've got all born with sons to carry on their name, because I think they're not going to come back, probably. There's David Wenham. We saw him at the beginning with a thing over his eye, didn't we? You may know him as the fella, I forgot his name now. He was in Lord of the Rings. He played Sean Bean's brother. I can't remember the bloody character's name now. He played him. He was also in Van Helsing, wasn't he? We're in Van Helsing. I don't know if I've seen him in anything else. I'm sure I think he's an Australian actor, isn't he? Anyway, he plays Dilios, by the way. I can't remember most of the names, but so he's like Leonidas' second in command, and his son is going into battle with them, which doesn't bode well. There he is. That's his son. So we know he's dead, don't we? He's Astenos. So anyway, so they're getting ready to go, but here come the councilmen. They say, "No, you're going off to the battle. It's Carnet. You're not allowed to, and you haven't got permission." He says, "I'm not. I'm just out for a walk with my guards, my 300 guards, and we're out for a stroll. So see ya." So off they go. They're going to head north, and then his missus comes. Here she comes to give him his shield and his son, and she says, Come back alive, or come back on your shield," she says to him. So off he goes. And she gives him a necklace which has got the wolf's tooth. I think it's supposed to be from the wolf that he slew as a child. She gives him that. And there she says, "There, look. Come back with your shield or on it." That's it. That's what she says. So off he goes. Into that looks a bit rubbish there, doesn't it? That line. Anyway, right, off they go. Meanwhile, we see that they're being watched as the 300 Spartans trundle off towards the hot gates. They're called that, by the way, the hot gates, because there's a hot spring there. So that's why they're called the hot gates, which is still there, apparently. The hot spring is still there, but there isn't the narrow passage now, because I think it's all been excavated away or whatever for a road and stuff like that. So it's not. It doesn't look like it looks in the film. Because I looked it up, I thought, I wonder what it looks like now, and I'm thinking, well, where is it? It's not there anymore. There's just like a town there. Anyway, so this is I can't remember. Ephiastes. I'll have to look it up because I can't bloody remember. Where is he? Ephialtes, that's it, played by Andrew Tiernan. Ephialtes, who's a deformed Spartan. His parents, snuck him away as a child, so he wasn't cast into the pit or whatever. But he's following them because he wants to join in. There he is, with his father's obviously. He's got weird arms and fingers and everything else. Anyway, off they go into battles, singing and playing musical instruments, which apparently is what the Spartans did. So anyway, along the way, there we go. They come across some Arcadians, and they want to join in the battle. I don't know how many of them they've got, but they've got more than 300 apparently. I don't know if it says how many there are, but it says, "I've brought more men than you." And so King Leonidas says, "Yeah, but how many of your men are soldiers?" And he asks them, "What is your profession?" And they're saying, like, "Oh, I'm a sculptor, I'm a potter, and, all this other stuff." And then he says to his men, "Men, what is your profession?" And they all go, "Hoo!" because they're like Marines. "Hoo-ah!" Because they're all professional soldiers. So he says, "I've brought more warriors than you." Anyway, so off they go. Setting up camp. Oh, no, they're not, are they? Yes, they are setting up camp. But they're going to find a terrible thing soon. There's Ephialtes watching them. He says, we're being followed. So he's going to go talk to him in a bit, I think. But they find a village. Is this? But yes, they found a village or small town or something that's being ransacked by a Persian force, by the Immortals, which apparently is Xerxes' personal guard. Oh, pardon me. The townspeople are being slaughtered by him. Of these Greeks. There we go. See, they've got clawed feet. I don't know what that is. Is that supposed to be an animal or a person? Or I've no idea. Oh dear. Anyway, there we go. We see a shadow. This is a shadow of an immortal, but then it turns out it's not an immortal. It's a young girl. There we go. She comes and she says, they came and took everybody except me, and then she dies. They came with beasts from the blackness. They took everybody but me, and then she dies. And then Dilius says he's found the villagers, and he has. And they see that they've made a tree of death. There we go. They've nailed, or whatever, all the villagers to a tree, so they're all dead. Showing how bad the Persians are. Meanwhile, Ephialtes is still watching them as they head through the hot gates. So, anyway. So, they're nearly there. And when they get there, because they're by the sea, and they see that the Persian fleet has arrived with its thousands of ships. And I don't know if in the story, the myth or whatever, that I don't know if they prayed to the gods, I don't know, but he says it looks like rain or something like that. And then, this says Zeus stabs the sky with thunderbolts, and like lots of the Persian fleet has sunk, and we see all people sinking into the water, all the Persians and stuff. And is it going to show it? Is it going to show it? Might be in a bit. Oh, unless I've missed it. It shows them all floating in the water, but they've got a lot more of them. Meanwhile, back at Sparta, this chap, Stephen McHattie, plays him. Usually plays bad guys, doesn't he? Plays a goodie in this. I don't know the name of his character. I will look it up. Stephen McHattie. Or just says loyalist. Let's have a look on Wikipedia. See if that says anything else. No, it just says loyalist. A loyal Spartan politician. Doesn't have a name. He's come to see the Queen. Queen Gorgo. If you don't know what Gorgo is, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to show you. 1961 film. Great film. I love Gorgo. I do. There he is. That's Where are you? Can you see it? Yes, you can. That's Gorgo. Oh dear. And Gorgo had a mother that was much bigger. But that's what I always think of when I hear them saying Gorgo. Great film. Anyway, it's gone to see Gorgo. Saying the counsellor, plotting against basically Leonidas and all that stuff. And she's got to go see him. They're granting her an audience in like 2 days, and she says Leonidas doesn't have 2 days. Says, well, nothing we can do about it. But anyway, right. So there they are, checking up on the sea. Even though loads of ships sank, they've still got a lot of soldiers there of the Persian army. They're all down there, massing. And the Arcadians are happy. They're saying, we can't win. There's too many of them. They outnumber us a bazillion to 1. Anyway, but Michael Fassbender says, it'll be right, he says, because he's Magneto. Anyway, I'm still seeing, he's still there lurking about his Ephialtes. They'll talk to him in a bit. But first up comes, a herald from Xerxes. Here he comes. We see that They've already been fighting, by the way, but like off screen. They're building a wall there so they can't go around. They've got to funneling the army into the hot gate. So they built a wall here so they can't go there. And we see that you can actually see they put bodies in amongst the stones. And then he looks, there we go, we see the put bodies in. We've used the soldiers you sent after us, we've used those as mortar. Anyway. And he goes, he's going to gets his whip out. There's this, there we go, this herald gets his whip out. But Michael Fassbender, I don't know his character's name, I'll look it up. Michael Fassbender, where are you? There was Stelios. That's a good Greek name, isn't it? Stelios. He goes leaping into action, probably helped by some wires, and chops off the bugger's arm. He goes, me arm. And he says, we will blot out the sun with our arrows, he says to him. And he says, then we will fight in the shade. And anyway, so off they send them back. Meanwhile, right, here we go. So he comes and Leonidas meets with Ephialtes. He says, I want to join up. You see there, he's deformed. For some reason, he's got a massive eye. But anyway, we see he's got a big hunchback and all that. But he's wearing his father's armour. Even his helmet doesn't fit, look. He says, I want to join. I can do stuff. I can fight. And he says, I can't use you. I'm sorry. He don't just reject him out of hand, but he says, the way we fight, you've got to protect the man on your left with your shield. And he says, raise your shield, and he can't raise it up because of his deformity and all that. And he says, so I can't use you, I'm sorry, but, if you want to serve and help, you can clear the battlefield of the dead and tend to the wounded and bring the men water and stuff like that. But he don't want to do that. He don't want to be a servant. He wants to be a warrior. And but he says, I'm sorry. So he gets angry. He gets angry as Ephialtes, and he goes running to Xerxes. But anyway, and he gets cross. Look, mother, father, you were wrong. And he throws his shield and stuff, his father's shield, off the cliff. And Leonidas, you are wrong. But he regrets his actions later. Anyway, so here come the Persian army running up the hill. By the way, which ones? Where are we going now? Right, all these are CG. According to Zack Snyder, and then here come the real people on the set. Here they are. But all the ones behind them are all CG. And he was saying, them birds in the background, they must be like pterodactyls or something, because they must be huge. Anyway, so here they are, getting ready now. We see his helmet's starting to get, even though we haven't seen any battles yet, but it's still getting nicks and dinks in his helmet. And it gets worse and worse as it goes on. Apparently had 17 helmets made for this film. All with, deteriorating states. Anyway, here we go. This is where they die, he says. Remember this day, men. Blah, blah, blah. Right, so here comes a chap. Spartans, set down your weapons. And obviously he doesn't. They just throw a spear at him. Hang on, where is it? Here it comes. They just throw a spear at him. Here he is. Doink. So that's him dead. And then he says, Spartans. Hang on, this bit here goes, Persians, sorry, they're Spartans, aren't they? Persians. So did he say to his men, right, I'm going to say this. When I say Persians, we all do this cool thing. All right, it'll look great for the film that they're going to make in 2,500 years. But we'll do that. So he must have, said to him, when I say Persians, do that. And then I'll say, come and get them, because they'll obviously ask us to set down our weapons. But anyway, the first battle of the film that we see takes place, and off we go. Take from them everything, and it's a cool thing. Like I said, it's like a wave of soldiers just hit their shields, but they stand their ground. and then they push them away and take some out. And I don't know if this is what really happened, but it looks cool on film, doesn't it? And so anyway, they make quick work of them. Oh, and then we get this cool shot. Here we go. This is Leonidas fighting away. Apparently, they did this with 3 cameras next to each other. 3 like high-speed cameras, which is in slow motion, next to each other, so that when it does stuff like that, there's one camera set, on that, and then the next camera will be, zoomed in a bit, and then the other one will be zoomed in a bit more, so that when they edit it all together and do the CG stuff, it'll, does these cool effects, stuff like that. It takes 3 cameras to do it. It did back in 2006. Wingate says, saw this movie twice in a row at the theatre when it came out. Cool. I saw it twice in a row today. Once with the commentary, once without. But it is a really good film, I must admit. It is a really good film. But I bet they worked out like bloody hell, these actors, didn't they? I wouldn't have passed. I wouldn't have passed muster. Anyway, so here they are. There we go. Inspired, this film kind of inspired the Spartacus TV series, didn't it? That's very similar, isn't it? In style. But anyway. Alright, so here we go, taking them all out. So, next up, they just take some more. Oh, I see, they're all scared now. Look at the Persians. And he says, your men, the Persians look thirsty. Let's give them something to drink. So he's always talking his teeth out. So they push them all into the sea. There we go. There's another shot from the graphic novel, apparently. And they chuck them all into the sea. There we go. So that's the first battle, and they're all, yay, we win the day. But it was just the first battle of many. Anyway. All right, then there we go. Arrows come. There we go. They said that we will blot out the sun with our arrows, and here they come. And there we go. Tuck tail. Is that an actual? I mean, couldn't it have said something better than tuck tail? that sounds like run away, doesn't it? Because when you tuck your tail between your legs, you run away. Couldn't it have said something like shields up or something like that? I know that's a bit Star Trekky, but you know what I mean. But yeah, they all get the shields up. And Persian coward. Lots of teeth in this film, isn't there? Anyway, what's his face? I forgot his name already. Anistios or whatever the hell he's called. He also wouldn't say fire. I don't know. We don't see him using arrows in this film. The Spartans. Anyway, where were we? No, because they'd say release or something like that. You said that, don't you? I don't know about it. Anyway, he's laughing, and he says, what you laughing at? He says, you had to say it, 'cause Michael Fassbender says, what you laughing at? He says, you had to say it, we will fight in the shade. Oh, did it? So they're all having a good laugh, and there we go. And then the arrows come out, they stop, and he gets rid of the arrows in his shield with his spear. Apparently that was Zack Snyder's idea. I don't know if that's in the graphic novel, but he says they thought it looked cool, and it did. Right, so got to wait now for some more coming. There we go, some more are coming. Are these the Immortals, or are these somebody else? Oh no, it's the cavalry. It's the cavalry next. Which I don't think this didn't make sense to me. They just take them out. They just get the shields up. They just take them. Why aren't the cavalry just running through them? But they're not. They're like going to the side of them. I thought, wouldn't they just run through them? But they don't. So, like I said, the Spartans make short work of the cavalry as well. We've got David Wenham doing the narration in his Rule of Three. Lots of Rule of Three dialogue. We do what we were trained to do. Hang on, where are we? There's another thing. What we were trained to do, what we were bred to do, what we were born to do. Isn't that the same thing? I don't know, but anyway. No prisoners, no mercy. Anyway, so they're fighting away. Stabbing and killing and all that stuff. There we go. A good start. Meanwhile, back in Sparta, young Leonidas' son, where is it? Pete's sake, where is it? There we go. He's playing hide and seek with his mother. He's hiding from her. And this blacksmith or whatever says, he's gone over there, gone that way. And she has an encounter with Dominic West. She speaks to him first. Stephen McHattie, the loyalist, about what's going to go on. I think this is where he tells her they'll see you in 2 days or whatever. But then there we go. So don't have 2 days. But and he says, Councilman Theron, you've got to make an alliance with him because he's the most powerful of the councillors, and make an alliance with him, and he'll turn all the others. And but they don't know he's in league with the Persians at this point. But anyway, she looks into the water, and then we see Councilman Theron has found her son, and is kind of being threatening, but in a but not. Says you should keep an eye on him. Something could happen to him. He's the future king. But because we know he's a baddie. Anyway, meanwhile, back on the at Thermopylae, they're just going around finishing off the Persian soldiers on the battlefield, and he's having an apple. See, he's got an apple there. He's Leonidas. Don't know where they got that from. They must have had it in his pocket or something. I don't know. But we ought to learn that the Arcadians want something to do, because obviously they've been fighting by themselves of the Spartans, and the Arcadians want something to do. They want to help. And he says, all right, Daxos must be the leader of the Arcadians that we saw, the fellow with the bald head. Says, I've got something that I think they can handle. So go get him. Meanwhile, whoever this is it Michael Fassbender? Is it one of the others? I don't know. There's 300 of them, but we only see like a few of them at a time. Says there's a small contingent coming, and we learn that it's Xerxes is coming to talk to Leonidas. And he says, okay, I'll go. And said, don't go. He says, no, if they assassinate me, all Sparta will go to war. Let's pray that they're not that stupid or we're that lucky. So off he goes to see Xerxes. Here he is on his platform that's been borne by hundreds of slaves, and here he is. And we see that he's a giant. So here he is. There he's a Goa'uld, isn't he? But to see he's a giant. Supposed to be that kind of supernatural sort of. Who's he played by? Rodrigo somebody or other. Rodrigo Santoro, who I've never heard of. What else has he been in? Let's have a look. He's a Brazilian actor. All right. Oh, he's in 300 Rise of an Empire as well. Brainstorm, 2001, and some other stuff. Right, fair enough. So here he is. See him walking down his steps, and then he doesn't stop. He doesn't stop because he knows that he's going to have slaves that are just going to so he can walk on their backs. Dear. There we see he's super tall, look. Because he's supposed to be a god on earth, isn't he? He's a crystal skull alien Goa'uld. Maybe so. Anyway. He might not be tall, they just might be little. Because they were smaller in the olden days, weren't they? But anyway, so he's saying, you're brave, your men are brave and all that, and surrender. You can't win. Surrender, and Sparta will rule all of Greece. Basically, he's saying essentially what his messengers and heralds have said before, but he's saying it himself face to face. You face annihilation in the presence of a god. But and he says. I would kill any one of my men, to beat you. And he says, I would die for any one of mine, because he's loyal to his men, isn't he? Anyway, so basically says, no, I'm not surrendering. But anyway, If you kneel before me, you can have everything. I can reward you with anything you could want from any corner of the empire, because the Persian Empire was a big one at that time, wasn't it? But he says, I can't kneel because I've got a cramp in my leg, so never mind, off we go. And then he gets cross. He gets crossed as Xerxes, and he says, right, I'll see you later. Meanwhile, they're fixing that wall, or they're building another wall out of the bodies of the Persians, and he's going to send in the immortals. He says, we're going to have a wild night. Here they are. Here come the immortals. They have served the dark will of Persian kings for 500 years. So here they are. And for some reason, they've got a big giant. It's called the Uber Immortal. A big giant was like 7 foot odd tall. Who's he played by? Does it say Uber Immortal? Let's have a look. Does it say? There we go. Uber Immortal. Robert Maillet. Apparently, I don't. In the behind the scenes, they said he was a wrestler. I've not seen him on anything. Maybe it must be an indie. But Zack Snyder was saying he was like a plumber or something. But he's like 7 foot tall. But they stuck loads of makeup on him. And are these supposed to be? I don't know. Like from like Oriental, can you say that? I don't know, but like from the far eastern reaches of the Persian Empire, because they kind of look a bit Japanese, don't they? And the swords that they've got look a bit like katanas. So I don't know if that's what they're going for, but anyway. But we see that they've got weird hands. I'm going to show them. Yeah, there we go. You see they've got like talons and extra fingers and stuff. Because there's a lot of deformities in this film for some weird reason. But anyway, there we go. There's the sword. Look a bit like katanas, don't they? A bit. But anyway. Right, so they'll come across this wall of bodies, and it's all a ruse because they're hiding behind. There we go. And they're going to push. And they push all the bodies down. Hang on. Missed it. I've skipped over it, haven't I? There they go. Here it comes. Ah! So they go and start taking out the immortals. This is where because the immortals are that good. They're not immortal. They just say they just call them immortals because as soon as you kill one, it seems like there's another one to take its place. They seem like they have a never-ending resource. But obviously they're killing them. But this is where. This is where the Spartans, some of the Spartans die in this one. So it's the first time they start suffering losses. Anyway, they release this fella. Off he goes. There he goes. And he takes out some of his own men as well. Which is why, I suppose, why they had him chained up. Poor Dilios has lost his helmet, look. But he's still fighting away. Look, he's taking out his own men. Anyway, there we go. So he nearly got killed, did Dilios, but I think it's Leonidas saved him. Yes, he did. And then the giant throws a big axe. And there we go. And he stops. Dilios sees it, and he grabs Leonidas and pulls him down. And the axe just cuts through his whatever that's called, his thrill or whatever it is. I don't know what they call. There it goes. Look, it must be sharp. So we're going to have a fight with him, and see, he's a big tough bugger. For some reason, I don't know why, he's got like, I'm going to show it, he's got like a weird thing there on his chest, like a big bony thing there. But anyway, so he's a big strong fella, but obviously Leonidas beats him. There we go, chops his head off. Cool. Anyway, it says, then he says to the Arcadians, go! So they have their chance to go in. And there we go, stabbing wildly. There we go. More brawlers than warriors. I think this is like talented amateurs or something like that. But they caused tremendous, disarray and distraction. So the sorted out the immortals. And there we go. A man who fancies himself a god feels a very human chill crawl up his spine, even though he's an alien. But never mind. So they're celebrating, but some of them have died, but not many. Anyway, so they're thinking they can win. And some more Persian forces are sent, barbarians. He looks oriental, doesn't he? He does. But obviously, they don't win either. And this, they're sending the rhinos. And that's, what's his face, isn't it? I can't remember his name. Astinios or something. Let me look. Where is he? Astinos, yes, Astinos. Played by Tom Wisdom. He takes out the rhino there. We threw a spear at it, he gets it right in its head. And apparently this were inspired by one of Zack Snyder's friends who shot a Cape buffalo that were charging at him. And he says it stopped. He just stood his ground and it came to a stop, right at his feet. And that's what this rhino does. There we go, it stops right at his feet. And there we go. Right, so anyway, so then we see they start throwing gunpowder stuff at them. So when they can't beat us with their swords, they turn to their magic. So some sort of, Persian wizards throwing hand grenades, holy hand grenades. There they are. But obviously they don't fare as well either. And then we go to take one out, and his hand grenade rolls into a big pile of them, blows them all up. There we go, we see there. Look. Xerxes is a bit cross, look. He's going to get angry. There we go. Ooh, I'm mad, he says. These pesky Spartans. Meanwhile, I've got this weird fella. Looks like he should be in Lord of the Rings or something. Looks like a bloody orc, doesn't he? With no arms, but weird blades on his arms. Anyway, he punishes his generals by beheading them. There we go. So like that. I missed a bit there. Here he comes. There he is. They'll behead him. And then he sends in the elephants, which don't fare well either, because they just drive them over the cliff. It says because they're big and clumsy and awkward. They're not like the Oliphants of Lord of the Rings. There we go. They just stand their ground with them and drive them off the cliff. Hey, and then say more fighting and all that stuff. And I think, is this where Astinos dies? It might be, because I think they're getting a bit cocky now. I forgot his name. I can't remember his name. I was just called Captain, played by Vincent Regan. Has he got a name? Captain Artemis. Sorry, Wingrace. Do you like V for Vendetta? Yes, that wasn't on your list of graphic novel adaptations. Yes, I forgot about that one. Yes, that's another one. But it's not stylized, is it? That's just it's a general film. All the ones I mentioned are kind of stylized and look like graphic novel adaptations, if you know what I mean. They've essentially used the graphic novels as storyboards, haven't they? Those films, what I mentioned, like Watchmen and Sin City and this. Whereas V for Vendetta or more, but it is a good film. A very good film, and I've got it somewhere. Where were we? Artemis is looking at his son. It says, here he is. There's his son there, and there we go. See, looks at. Why it said just duck, or tuck tail, whatever he says. No, this fella comes riding up behind, and chops off. I forgot his name again already. Astinos's head. The Spirit did that too. I've not seen The Spirit, I don't think. Can't remember which one. There's one with Billy Zane. No, that's The Phantom, innit, with Billy Zane. But people don't tend to like that. I do, though. I don't think I've seen The Spirit. I don't think I have. V is awesome, says Justin. It is. It's good as V. Oh, excuse me. Meanwhile, poor Astinos had his head chopped off. There we go. Oh no, I pressed the wrong button. There it is. So Artemis is not happy about that. I imagine this fella, we don't see him again, this fella on the horse, I imagine he didn't last long after this. We don't see him. Does he just ride off, or do they get him? I don't know. But why didn't he just say duck, or look out? I'm guessing it happened too fast, because we see it in like slow motion. He's going in slow motion. So I'm guessing he didn't have time to react. So there you go. He's a bit fed up. So it goes text like turn. He goes wild, blood drunk, and he's filled with grief, but takes it out all on the Persians. They've got to drag him away. It takes 3 men to restrain him and bring him back to our own. So anyway, they close ranks and back off. Right. So now here we go. Now, I think it says there as well, the back off there, no songs are sung, because they have lost quite a few men now. And then we cut to, this is Xerxes' harem, or harem, however you want to pronounce it, with a fella with a goat's head. And I'm not sure if he's supposed to be like some mutant with a goat's head, like from the Minotaur, or if he's a fella with a mask on or whatever. I don't know. Or maybe some genetic engineering thing gone wrong, left over from the Anunnaki or whatever. I don't know. But there's lots of weird stuff going on in this tent. Anyway, where were we? Winggrace says, The Spirit as Samuel L. Jackson and Scarlett Johansson. Cool. I've just ordered a Scarlett Johansson film, which we'll be doing next week, I think. I think it's next week or the week after. I can't remember. We're doing Ghost in the Shell if the disc arrives in time, the live-action version. The father's emotion is so real, says Justin. Yes, it is. You can, you're there with him, aren't you? The grief and shock. But anyway, so we're in Xerxes' harem. I don't know how to pronounce it. Where we're seeing lots of weird people. Like these look beautiful, and they turn round, they're all deformed. It's obviously showing that he's amongst his kin. His Ephialtes. This is where he's going to betray. What's his face? Leonidas to Xerxes. He's going to tell them that there's a path, so that Xerxes' army can go round and attack the Spartans from behind. There's like a goat path that they can get a small force round. Yes, Winggrace, yes, Newton's experiments, yes, so it's a Stargate spin-off, is it? Like 10,000 BC, that Roland Emmerich film, which I often call Stargate Zero, which we'll do one day, I think. I've got that on Blu-ray over there. I haven't seen it for a while. Anyway, so here he is saying, I'll give you anything you want. You can have, money, women, anything. And but serve me. So he keeps saying, "I am kind." He's going to say it here. Anything you could desire. Keeps repeating. I pressed the wrong button. There we go. Never mind. I've got to be careful because there's boobage going on in this tent. But he keeps saying, "I am kind." Anyway, so he says, "Yes, I will do it. But I want one thing. I do want. I'll take everything else." Says Ephialtes, but I really want a uniform. So anyway, so he says, yes, okie dokie, steady. I want it all, and I also want a uniform. And he goes, done. By the way, his voice is very Goa'uld, by the way. Have a listen. I want to have a listen.
Uniform!
Done. Got this like deep, kind of reverberating voice, like a Goa'uld. Anyway, so they're gonna, so he's gonna betray the Spartans just because he says, I can't use you in battle. They could have stuck him at one end or something of the line, couldn't they? But anyway, never mind. Right, so here we go. Not a nice scene here between Gorgo and Theron. Is it Theron? I keep forgetting. I'm hopeless with bloody names. Yes, Theron. We see in the background he's paid off somebody to get in. I'm there. We're there. Go back. Here we go. We see in the back. There is blurred in the background. This must be a guard or something. I don't know. Somebody with a torch is paying them off, giving them money to get in to see the Queen. Is that easy? Apparently so. But anyway, he's coming and it starts off nice, but then he ends up saying, I think it's this scene, saying that I'll be on your side in the council, but there's something I want. And obviously, there we go, he grabs a bit throat. And he says, there's something I want from you. And I go, what do you, he says, what do you want? He says, I think you know. There we go. So basically, essays, sort of. And so, but she thinks he's going to be on their side in the council chamber or whatever it is. Anyway, so they are dealing with their wounded. Look, he's cauterizing a wound there, and we learn. I thought that was Ryan Reynolds at first. Maybe it is. I don't know. We learn that Artemis is away from him. He's mourning alone. We see that David Wenham's lost his eye now, and it says, it's only an eye, the gods saw fit to grace me with a spare. But obviously Leonidas is now thinking, well, he can't carry on because he'll have no depth perception. They don't say that, but anyway. There we go. Artemis curses the gods and mourns alone. Anyway, so here comes, I forgot his name already, Daxios. Is it Daxios? I've got to look again. Daxos, there we go. He arrives on a horse, and apparently this actor, for Pete's sake. Back. Is it, why not going back? Come back again. There we go. He arrives on this horse, and apparently learned to ride a horse just so he could do this. Learned to ride bareback, just so he could do that. He tells them the Persians have found the goat path. He says the traitor, the hunchback traitor, has told them about the goat path, and the some of the soldiers that they had there, I can't remember what they call them, that ran off, or the Phocians you posted there, scattered without a fight. So they flanked them of the Persians. So he kind of knows now, does Leonidas, that they're not going to win. But the Spartans never retreat, Spartans never surrender, just like Galaxy Quest. Justy says, I forgot Fassbender's in this. Yes, he plays a good part in it as well. There's old Michael. Anyway, so they leave then, the Arcadians, they're going. Was riding off. Right, so gather round. It says, "Children, gather round. We're gonna fight." And they will sing songs basically about what we do here tonight and all that stuff, or in the next few days. And here comes Artemis. Apparently, he's been covered in himself with ashes, in his grief, and he's saying he's sad that he's never told his son that he loved him the most, and that it was proud that he stood side by side with him, and all that stuff. And he's quite emotional. And he says, I am filled with grief, my heart is broken for your loss. And Artemis says, my heart is filled with hate. He says, good. Anyway, so he says, Dilios, a word. And he says, I'm ready. I'm fit and ready for battle. He says, yes, I know you are, and you are one of my best, but you're also great at talking and telling tales and stuff. So go off back to Sparta and tell the council what's happened, and tell the story of what's happened here. So he says that's his order to him. So he says, okie dokie then, and he gives him the wolf tooth. Or claw, or whatever it is. I think it's a tooth, to give back to Gorgo. It says, that's all we need. There's no message. That's the only message we need. So off he goes. And also others go as well. There we go. Hundreds leave, injured and stuff like that, I imagine. And a handful stay, he says. It did say there, a handful stay. So they're not 300 anymore, even though it does say that in a bit. Wingray says, I need to omega-13 a bunch of times to include the hunchback. Okay. I don't get it. I know the omega-13, where you go back in time 13 seconds, but I don't get how the hunchback happens. Anyway. So they're all leave. So now there's just a handful left. And so he says, eat hearty, have a hearty breakfast, for tonight we dine in hell. It's all teeth, look. How do you speak like that? I mean, because it even doesn't sound right. He goes, tonight we dine in hell. He says it like that. We dine in hell! That's a Brian Blessed, isn't it? Gordon's alive! Anyway, so they let him on the team. Okay. Okay. You mean because each time they'll fail because of him, so they'll just keep going back and giving him another go? Is that what you mean? Anyway, so we're back in Sparta with some superimposed birds or CG birds or whatever in the council chamber. Here they are. Gorgo, queen of the Spartans. There they are, all the old men. Obviously don't want to go to war. She does a speech. Apparently this was the first day, not the first day, this was, but it might have been the first day. It was her first day of filming. It was, no, it was the third day of filming. It was Lena Headey's first day of filming and the third day of filming overall in the film, with this scene. So she does an impassioned speech about, Spartans and being brave and honourable and all that stuff. And do it for hope and all that. Basically, if you don't do it, we're all going to die. And we don't want that, do we? But then he stands up. Because he said he'd help her, because he obviously, because he had his wicked way with her, didn't he? And he said he wouldn't help her in the council. But then he doesn't. He goes back on that. And he says that, don't listen to her because she's a liar, he says, and she uses her sexuality to get favours, and he says all that to her, and she says, no, it's not true. So she stabs him because he's a bad one. There we go. She stabs him, and you will not enjoy this. I am not your queen. And then she pulls the sword out. He had this little pouch, and all this Persian money comes out of this pouch. Not very clever of him, wanted to carry that about, but he did. And so they realise he's a traitor. There, Stephen McHattie picks the coin up and says, traitor! So now what? They're going to get all Greece on their side. Meanwhile, Ephialtes is pointing, or he will be, there he is, with his prosthetic hand, or animatronic hand, pointing to the where the Spartans are. So they've surrounded them basically now, and he's confident enough now, is Xerxes, to come himself onto the front line. And we see that they're surrounded by archers with weird arrows. There we go, all different designs for the points of the arrows for some reason. So they see all the. Do they just think that's just a pile of shields? Obviously, the Spartans are under there, but I don't know. But it looks as though he's going to surrender. There's Leonidas. He comes. Is this what he thinks is a uniform? But the bishop's hat and the scarf. I don't know. Anyway, he's saying, to Leonidas, surrender, and Xerxes is kind and all that, and he's cool. Grace says, somewhere in the background is SG-1 hiding under cloaks trying to find a ZPM. Yes, they are. There'll be one in there somewhere. It'll be back in... I can't remember what the capital of Persia were called. What were they called now? I can't remember. Anyway, it'll be back there somewhere. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, so it says, and he says to Leonidas says to Ephialtes, may you live forever, which is like a big insult to Spartans, and he realises that. Anyway, there we go. It's on about, if you surrender now, Sparta will be wealthier and more powerful than ever before, blah, blah, blah. So all he has to do is kneel. And he looks at he does do it. He takes off his helmet. He's thinking back to taking out the wolf. And then he takes off his helmet. There we go. And says his helmet is stifling, his shield is heavy, and his spear, he puts his spear down. Oh, this is where he says to him, may you live forever. And then he kneels down, but it's all a ruse, and then he goes, Stelios! Oh, he's thinking about his wife. Then he shouts, Stelios, and here he comes. Here he comes, takes out that chap. And so Xerxes is angry. Slaughter them, he says. Justin says, the only issues with Zack Snyder, every movie, after this, is almost the same in look and tone. His best movie film style-wise was Dawn of the Dead. I think he's a good filmmaker, is Zack Snyder. I like Zack Snyder films, I must admit, for the most part. But I think he's better when he's doing things that other people have written. His own scripts leave a lot to be desired. His own, and all that. I know he co-wrote this one, didn't he? But I think he's better working with other people's material rather than his own stuff. Because Rebel Moon, wasn't that good, was it? I didn't hate it, but it wasn't that good, was it? But anyway, I'm kind of a Zack Snyder fan. I've kind of liked all the Zack Snyder films. I even liked Army of the Dead. I didn't mind it. But anyway, even the owl cartoon were okay. Anyway, so he's cross. So there we go. They release their arrows, and so they're all dying. There we go. They're all getting arrowed. But he needed to take off his helmet and drop his shield so he could throw his spear, because his shield was heavy and threw him off balance, and his target is far away. Because he's got to show that even a god can bleed. He said that to him earlier on when they met first. Leonidas and Xerxes, he said, I will show, before this day is done, we will see that a god can bleed, and this is where he does it. Here it comes. In slow motion. There you go. Checks out his cheek. Well, the owl cartoon was based on a book series, so not his work. Well, there you go. I'd prove my point. But anyway, so they're all dropping like flies now, because there's not many of them left. But in this bit, David Wenham did, he said something about the 300 behind him. I can't find it. It's in there somewhere. I thought, no, there's just a handful left. There's not 300 now, is there? But anyway. So, there we go. So he does that. And there they are. They're all covered in arrows now. They're all Boromir and all. Faramir he played. It just came to me. David Wenham played Faramir, didn't he, in Lord of the Rings? And it took me the whole film to remember. So they're all got loads of arrows in them. Here comes Artemis. He gets run through with a big spear and also stabbed, but he takes out these other chaps. And then he does the old Excalibur thing. Zack Snyder says he ripped this off from Excalibur, where he just pulls the spear pulls the spear through him. They did it in Star Trek Nemesis as well, didn't they? With Picard and Shinzon. Oh, pardon me. Justin says, I agree. He can make movies good. I'm a fan. But he has that JJ problem. He has a style. He just sticks with it. I suppose so. You know a JJ film. You know a Zack Snyder film when you see it, don't you? I think it says, Sucker Punch is great music video, but terrible as a movie. I don't think I've seen it all the way through, that one, Sucker Punch. My son loves it. Probably because of all the girly girls in it, I imagine. But I don't think I've sat down and watched that all the way through. Like I've seen bits of it when my son's been watching it. But anyway, Oscar Isaac's in that, isn't he? Anyway, so he takes out them and then dies. Because they're all dying now. And then we see that Xerxes can bleed. And this is where Michael Fassbender says, I was nearly filling up with this bit. What does he say here? Have I missed it? I've gone too far. There we go. It's an honour to die at your side, he says to his king. To which he replies, it's an honour to have lived at yours. And I'm like, oh, 'cause it's all manly stuff, isn't it? Oh, manly crying. Anyway, so, and then, there we go. He knows he's about to die. And so they release more CG arrows at him. Here it comes in a minute. When they're ready. Here they come. Hang on, because we've got to, here we come to blot out this. Bit of overkill, that, innit? But, you know. Right. So, anyway, Gorgo. She knows somehow, probably, he's dead. Because here comes Dilios. Gives her the wolf tooth, fang, claw, whatever it is. So she knows. And he's got to go and talk to the council now and tell the tale of the brave 300, and it does the trick, because then all of Greece is united against Persia. The Battle of Thermopylae, even though the Spartans lost and they all died, it delayed the rest of the invasion by about a year, didn't it? So Greece had time to rally. Justin says, Sucker Punch is okay. The lead girl, I think, was the young girl in Ghost Ship. Yeah, I can't remember her name. But, yeah. I know what you mean, but I can't remember her blooming name. Anyway, there he is, dead. Along with all the others. But then we go a year ago, and here he is, he's got a new bandage on. So he's telling the tale to all the other Greeks. We learn that there's 40,000 Greeks, 10,000 Spartans, and 30,000 other Greeks going up against. I think it says 4 times or 3 times. 3 times as many Persians. But as we know from history, or is it history? Did it really happen, or do we just? I don't know. But the history says it happened, didn't it? It's not just a myth. That the Greeks won, didn't they? The Battle of Plataea or whatever, something like that. So off they go into battle. They go running into battle. Hey, we're going to fight and stuff. And then it ends, and then we get the credits. Great film. Justin says, I like 300 Part 2 also. Yes, I've got it. Yes, there we go. 300 Rise of an Empire with a lenticular thing in 3D. I don't know if I've watched it in 3D. I'll have to take it upstairs. I've got the 3D telly back. It's in my bedroom. I'll have to give it a watch in 3D. Who's in that one anyway? I know it's what's the face, isn't it? Eva Green is in. You see Eva Green's boobs in the second one, don't you? I don't know who it is. Some bloke. But yeah, the second, the sequel's okay. Winggrace never got round to watching it. It's alright, I didn't mind it. I got this out because I'm thinking, shall I do like an extra Magnificent Mondays? I might do it tomorrow. I've got to clean the bathroom tomorrow, so I might do it after. But anyway, yeah. So there we go. So that's the end of 300. Great film. Really well made. Kind of, I said, it inspired the Spartacus TV series, which I loved for the most part. Although I never saw the ending for some reason. I never got to the end of it. But anyway. Yes, best part was Eva Green, so hot. There's something about her, isn't there? She's not. I think Eva Green is one of these weird women, but I don't think she's traditionally attractive, but she's hot, if you know what I mean. Kevin Sorbo is in the parody, is he? All right, I don't know. Her character was pretty cool. Yeah, she was like the Leonidas version, of woman version, wasn't she, or something, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, so there we go. That's the end of 300. Go and watch it. Go and watch it. It's a cool film. It is a really good, if you've not seen it. And get the graphic novel. I don't know. Is it good? I imagine so. They made a film now about it, didn't they? But, it's well worth a look. Well worth a look. A Zack Snyder film. Back when he could make good films. Oh, dear. Does it say here? Does it say? Hang on. Let's go back a bit. The Stephen McHattie character. Does it just say loyalist? Yeah, it did. It just says loyalist in the credits here. It's a right name, isn't it? Pleistakos Giovanni Antonio Cimino. Anyway, so there we go. Cool flick. Right, done and dusted. Sorted. Right. Just let me get this back. There we go. Spladoosh. Right. Right, we'll leave it there. We're all done and dusted. Great film. It is a really good film. Great acting, great effects. So it's done in that stylised way, which I think is good for a comic book movie. It's a comic book brought to life, like Sin City was, which we will probably do at some point. Justice says, first season was good, but when the lead actor passed, I stopped watching. I saw it, I they did the first season, didn't they? And then the lead actor died, didn't he? I can't remember his name. He had some sort of cancer or something, didn't he? Or something like that, wasn't it? And then they did another series, it was like a prequel, wasn't it? Like Gods of the Arena. But I thought that were really good as well. And then the season 3, they got the recast, the role of Spartacus, didn't they? And I liked that, but I can't remember how many seasons I watched after that. I think I started watching the final season, but I don't know if it was that season 4 or season 5. I can't remember, but I didn't get to the end, and I don't know why. Since the graphic novel was good, Watchmen was okay. Watchmen's a masterpiece, in my opinion. So there we go. I think Watchmen is I know it's different to the graphic novel, particularly the ending, but I think Watchmen is an amazing film. But then I think Batman vs Superman, the Ultimate Edition, is a masterpiece. Apart from, what's his face? I can never remember his name. Facebook guy as Lex Alexander Luthor. But anyway. Winger says, I like the original ending better. Project Bluebeam. We're back on UFOs again. Anyway, we'll leave it there. We're done and dusted. Oh, crikey, I've got an itch. So what's coming up next? What day? On Monday. On Wednesday, for Watch Party Wednesday, we're watching Galaxy Quest. No retreat, no surrender, just like the Spartans. And on Friday, it's Friday the 13th. Where put it? There it is. So we're watching Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. So that's that. You know about Watchmen? That's what happened. That's what happened in Watchmen, isn't it? Yeah. That's what the original ending was. Fake alien invasion of New York City, killing millions. Oh, yes. But they changed it for the film, didn't they? They made it the ending in the film were kind of like a 9/11 type, their false flag thing, wasn't it? But in the comic book, apparently it were different. I've not read it. As I said, I'm not a comic book guy, not anymore. But anyway, is that? Are you serious? No, it won't. Well, just leave it at that, Justin. It wasn't. Anyway, the TV show, the Watchmen TV show, was that good. They were told they could do another season, but they said no, we don't want to, because season 1 was that good. Yeah, of course it was. It was bloody rubbish. It was a Watchmen TV show. Anyway, we'll leave it there. As I said, next Mondays, Magnificent Mondays, might be. Is it next Monday or the Monday after? I can't remember. I've forgotten already what I'm doing. Never mind. We agree to disagree. Yes, on this. Anyway. Which is fine. It's fine. We can still be friends. Anyway. So we'll leave it. I forgot what next week's Monday is going to be. I can't remember if it's going to be Ghost in the Shell or if I pick something else. I've forgotten. I'm going to have to check now because it's bothering me. It's bothering me. I did look something up. So just let me check. Check. Where are you? Where's it bloody gone? So I'm just looking through my internet history for the website I checked up. If you check my Google search history, not that you can, but you'll find what's the difference between a plantain and a banana. I've never had a plantain, but apparently I've heard that they're savoury bananas. Anyway, where were we? Why is it not showing it? Is it further back? It might be further back. Oh, there we go. Yes, it is. It might be the week after. So what's next week's going to be then? Oh dear. No, not that one. I can't remember. I'll check it later and sort it out at some point. We are similar but different on some things, yes. Well, we're not twins, are we? Well, you never know. Might be, I don't know. But separated at birth. Who knows? They're good fried. I don't think I've ever seen a plantain. I don't know if they sell them at my local supermarket. But for some reason they've been popping up in like YouTube videos and stuff like that for some bizarre reason for me, and I don't know why. Anyway, we'll leave it there. We're all done and dusted. So, and I'll decide what next Monday's film's going to be. It's either going to be League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, maybe, or Ghost in the Shell. I can't remember. I'll have to check me stuff I was looking up because I tried to get dates. I tried to do a film on the date that it was released. I forgot to mention 300 today is the 19th anniversary of the release of the film. So I tried to have them do a show that is, date relevant or thereabouts. Justin likes them. Bananas, yuck. My son doesn't like bananas. He says it's monkey food. I love bananas. I've got to eat bananas. The doctors told me because I'm low potassium or something. So I have bananas in my porridge on the morning. Anyway, we'll leave it there. So thanks, Justin. Thanks, Wingrace. I don't think anybody else popped in, did they? No, they didn't. Let's check on Rumble and see if anybody said anything. Nah, of course they didn't. Right, so we'll leave it there. You did League, didn't you? No, I've not done League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I've got the disc here. I've talked about it before. I've threatened to do it, and now I've got it on Blu-ray, so I can do it. Bad mate, so I haven't done it. I hope I haven't. I'm going to have to check back now. I don't think I have. If I have, I'm sorry. We'll pick something else. But I don't think I have, because I've only just got it on Blu-ray. But anyway, whatever. Right, so we'll leave it there. So, let me get sorted. Where is it? There it is. So, thanks for watching, and wherever you are, look after each other, and until next time, I'll say